Hello Yarny friends, Rachel here. I am doing an update video slash show off my projects video. And I have all of the details of what I've been up to for the last 6 months? 6 months. It's been 6 months. So I sit here before you 70 pounds lighter than I was the last time that I saw you, which might not look that different because you usually just, see this bit here. But the last time I talked to you guys, I was hovering right around the 360 pound mark. I am now currently below 300 pounds, which is amazing. I am right now hovering around the 295 mark. And that is really exciting for me. Why the sudden dramatic weight loss? For those of you who've been following my channel for a while know that it is because that I had weight loss surgery. So I had vertical sleeve gastrectomy, VSG, which is one of the forms of bariatric surgery, back in the beginning of September. And I have lost right around 70 pounds since the start of September. So that is incredible. And I am incredibly thankful for that. And I know that a lot of you have been wondering how all of that's been going because yes, this is a yarn channel. I want to talk about projects, which we will get to projects. I will show you 2 of my major projects that I have been working on over the last few months. But I know a lot of you have also been wondering, where did I go? What have I been up to? The main reason that I disappeared off social media and YouTube for a good 6 months is because I was trying to process through having major surgery and major weight loss, and I still have a long ways to go. So that is where I've been. It just takes a lot of mental and emotional energy to kind of go through that process. And so I just kind of disappeared for a while, which I will say this, you guys have been incredible. Since I haven't been on YouTube, I feel like my channel has kind of exploded in spite of myself. So thank you. You guys are awesome. I already knew that I had some really fantastic followers who were dedicated to the channel and were really wondering where I was. So if you reached out to me via email, comment, whatever it was, or even Instagram message, Facebook message, whatever, I saw those. I didn't have the mental and emotional energy to respond, but that doesn't mean that I wasn't incredibly thankful for the fact that you reached out to me to check in on me. It means a lot. I am here. I am doing well. I am a healthier and happier person than I was 6 months ago. And I am very, very excited to get relaunched here on YouTube in a way that can be sustainable and that I can really engage with you guys on a regular basis without constantly hitting these roadblocks associated with just fatigue, energy, weight, mental health. Like, those will all be a part of my life. Those things, it's just part of who I am. But since I've had weight loss surgery, I have completely fallen in love with exercise. I'm at the gym minimum 3 days a week. I love it. I cannot get enough of it, which is sort of funny to me because I have always been the person who despised working out in any capacity at all. But I absolutely have fallen in love with it. And so it's just improved my mood, improved my perspective, improved my energy, improved my person. So here I am. I'm so excited to be with you guys. So that is kind of how, in a very short and condensed version, how things have been going for the last 6 months. I have seen you guys. I have missed you guys. I'm so glad you're still here with me. And for anyone who has followed this channel within the last 6 months, thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. And I hope that I am able to be much more present and available to all of you as a content creator going forward from this point. So there is the very abbreviated update for you. I will now go into the projects, at least the major projects that I've been working on since kind of going through this whole process of weight loss surgery. So I haven't worked on a ton of major projects because I've really been trying to give my space to heal, to kind of go through the emotional process of, hey, I eat differently now and forever for the rest of my life. And my entire physical body has changed and is going to continue to change, which also means that my entire emotional and mental state has changed. And so I've been doing a lot of working through that, which, if any of you know me, crochet, knitting machine, yarn crafts, all of the above are very like contemplative, meditative thing for me. But at the same time, I've been trying to give myself a lot of space for stillness, to just kind of be quiet and still without something in my hands, to kind of dwell in that slightly uncomfortable space. And that has been part of the reason why I haven't gotten quite as much yarn crafts done as I have in the past. But being here 4-ish months post-operation, I am kind of jumping back into things. So I'll show you what I have. First off, this is the Kitty Turban Twist hat, aka the Lisa hat. There is a tutorial up right now on the channel, which I posted a few days ago, for this exact hat. In the thumbnail, it is pink. Here is a very light lavender purple version. I don't know if the color is quite coming across, but I figured I would put that on because I always and forever love this hat. And I wanted you guys to be able to access the tutorial, see what it looks like on a real life person. Hey, what do you know? And be able to go and see that. If you wanted to create this on your knitting machine, this is a knitting machine tutorial. It does require a 46 or 48 machine. So add your central for the larger section up top here, and then this section right here is made on a 22 needle machine. I have an Addy 22. I know that Central has a 22 as well. So you need a larger machine and a smaller machine for this hat, given how the pattern is constructed. Lisa is in a Facebook group that I am in, couple actually, I think. And she was the one who originally came up with this design. I reached out to her. She said, absolutely, yes, please film a tutorial for it. And so that is why this is here. Big shout out to Lisa, and why I call it the Lisa hat, because this is not my original work, but she was kind enough to let me record a tutorial for it, since she doesn't have an online presence in tutorials or written patterns and things like that. So there's that. Kitty Cat Turban Twist, link in the comments below. Be sure to check that out if you are interested in creating one of these beauties for yourself. This was really my last knitting machine project that I worked on. While I was kind of healing and recovering, I really wanted to be able to do something that was more... comfort zone is the wrong word. Knitting machine stuff is definitely within my wheelhouse and within my comfort zone. But it's not my heart language when it comes to yarn crafts, if you understand concept of heart language and everything like that. Obviously, I'm not talking about actual verbal languages. But at the same time, I feel like with yarn crafts, there's generally like something that you lean towards heavily one way or the other. Either you identify predominantly as a crocheter, or you identify predominantly as a knitter, or maybe you're just one of those like magical unicorn people who can do both and love both equally. If that is you, God bless you, because I wish I was that person. I can knit, as I've said on the channel before, and I do enjoy knitting. But when it comes to hand knitting, it's simply a lack of patience, because I am so quick with my crochet that I feel like hand knitting holds me back at this point. And so I get irritated and frustrated when I cannot complete projects as quickly. And so that's why I lean more heavily into crochet. It's the first thing that I learned. It's the first thing that I've loved when it's come to yarn crafts. I'm still relatively new to the knitting machine game. I only got my knitting machines a year-ish ago, year and a half maybe. So picked it up pretty quick because I loved it, but that's not my main jam. So I will show you the crochet projects that I've been working at. First off is this. Okay, where's the finished edge. I have 4 rows left on this, you guys, so don't judge me. I didn't get the last 4 rows done before I filmed this, but this is what I've been working on, and this didn't honestly take me that long to finish. I only started working on it a couple weeks before Christmas. So this is a very large Afghan, a very heavy Afghan. I'm trying to reach as back far as I can to show it all on camera. This is a project that's very near and dear to my heart because my grandma Mary was the one who taught me how to crochet. She passed when I was 6 years old, but she still managed to teach me the fundamentals before she died. And this pattern, as far as I know, was one of the only things that she ever crocheted consistently. Like she would do like snowflake tree ornaments that she would stiffen up, you know, things like that. She did the odd little like Christmas decoration. But when it came to honest to goodness things that she would do consistently, like every single day, it was this pattern. And this pattern is called the Navajo Squares pattern. And the stitch that is used to cause those drop down reliefs, it's a form of mosaic crochet called the Apache tear stitch. I'm going to put in like a 2-second caveat here. We need to name this better. That's my thoughts. I love the Native American community deeply. I don't know if calling something the Apache tear stitch and the Navajo diamond stitch is in any way offensive. If it is, I apologize. That is not my intention. I have loved and worked with and even lived with many Native Americans over the course of my 35 years of life. And my intention here is not to offend in any way. That is just simply the common name for these things. I'm generally going to refer to this as Grandma Mary's Afghan because that's how I knew it. This was what she made. So that's what I'm calling it. But if you are doing search terms and you want to look it up in Google, you do need to look for the Apache tear stitch or the Navajo diamond pattern blanket. This pattern has been around for ages. So if I'm 35 and my grandma Mary passed away when I was 6, she died in 1993, 94, right around there. And up until that point, this was a very common pattern. So this is definitely like some old school retro crochet happening here, which I was going to grab her original Afghan from upstairs because I still have one of her Afghans, which I've featured on the channel before. In fact, give me like 2 seconds. I'm going to go grab it so you can kind of see some of the contrast and comparison here. Hold on. Okay, so I have my grandma's original blanket here to show you guys, and this is what it looks like. She used a standard 4-weight. I'm pretty sure she was a Red Heart fanatic. So this is, I'm pretty confident, made in Red Heart, just standard Red Heart bargain yarn from the 1980s. And so that's what she made this in. I've always loved this pattern. I've always loved this blanket. This always has felt like a big hug from my grandma. But the only thing that I didn't like about it was that I always felt like it was a little thin. So I put my own twist on it, and I simply decided to double my yarn. And so that is why you have the larger stripes, the larger blocks, because this is essentially made with a chunky yarn, but it isn't a chunky yarn. It is simply a standard 4-weight yarn that is doubled up. So you can see the size difference in the stripes and the stitches here. I'll attempt to hold these up together. All right, hold on. Here we go. Because one of the things that, besides it being, I felt like a little thin, it's a really time-consuming blanket to make because it is all single stitch rows. with the double crochet drop down. And so you do a giant couch throw in single stitch. It's going to take a long time. So here is the difference. There we go. Can you see that? Is that functioning? My fringes. Okay, hold on. There is that better? You can see the size difference in the stripes. You can see, if I hold it a little closer, probably the size difference in the stitches. So if I am right, I'm guesstimating that my grandma made this with a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook, maybe a 5. I do not think it was a 6. I would say that she made this with either a 5 or a 5.5. I'm leaning towards 5.5. I think she made this with a 5.5 with Red Heart Super Saver back in the 80s. That's what she did. I made this with Hobby Lobby I Love This Yarn, which calls for a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook, but I made it because it's double stranded. And every row is started. So hey, this is a fun pattern because you never ever have to weave in ends. Bonus. I made this, just doubled up my strands, and I used a 9 millimeter crochet hook for this. So this is the thickest, squishiest, coziest, most wonderfulest blanket that I've made in quite a while. I absolutely adore this thing. I love the colors that I chose. I feel like it gives it a very like Southwest America's vibe. And I just love it. I just love it. So I will be creating a tutorial for this crochet pattern. I don't know if I can tag the original creator of this pattern because this pattern is probably like 40, 50 years old at this point. And I have done a bit of research trying to hunt down who originally came up with this pattern and this design. I don't know if the accreditation's out there because it's a common enough pattern and a common enough design over the last 50 years that if at some point I can find the original designer, I will definitely link that in the comments. Otherwise, just know what the name of the stitches are and what my intention is with creating a tutorial for it, because this looks complicated, maybe, but it is stupid simple. And if you've never done mosaic crochet, this is a really great, super basic way to get acquainted with mosaic crochet, because the technique is technically a mosaic crochet technique, even if it is extremely beginner friendly. Very, very simple. This was the first thing that I ever crocheted in my life. This is what my grandma taught me to crochet. This is how she taught me single crochet and double crochet. And the first blanket I ever created was this pattern. So keep an eye out for that. I will tell you the yarn colors of this. The turquoisey color here, that is the yarn colorway Ocean from Hobby Lobby I Love This Yarn. This is Sun Gold, the yellow, the orange here, that is Burnt Pumpkin, and the red, the deep burgundy-ish red, that is Aubergine. Aubergine. Those are the colors that I put into this blanket. So tutorial to come soon, hopefully no later than 2 weeks from now. That is my goal. But you know, I have 4 young kids who have been sick for a long time over Christmas break. And so I'm setting goals for myself, not hard and fast expectations. So be aware of that. The second thing that has been kind of my more major project is a poncho. And I am, I don't know, probably about halfway done with it. It is made in block stitch. And this yarn is the colorway Dakota. in Hobby Lobbies. I've loved this yarn. And this was one of those yarns that I just so completely fell in love with that I didn't even have a pattern or a plan as to what to create with it. I just picked it up and knew I wanted to make something out of it. And so I decided to go with the poncho because with my dramatic weight loss, I'm hesitant to make, honest to goodness, like sweaters and things because my size is shifting and I want to be able to wear it for a very long time. And ponchos are kind of one of those great one size fits all kind of things. So this here, technically it's an original pattern because I've modified it fairly significantly. But the original pattern that I kind of drew my inspiration from and kind of came up with a plan from in the back of my brain was the Modern Granny Winter Poncho. I will link it down below, by the Crochet Crowd. So Crochet Crowd, you're amazing. This is kind of my interpretation of your poncho. And it's not done. Once I get the poncho, this is like a big, I made a big turtleneck for it because who doesn't want a gigantic turtleneck in the winter? I don't know. So this will be folded over. Big, super cozy, cuddly turtleneck. And then when I get this down to the length that I want it to be, I am planning on putting this same crochet rib stitch in the same color, the cranberry, down at the ends as like cuffs. So it'll stay around my wrist because that is like my number one annoyance with ponchos is that I feel like they're just like flippy and floppy and flowy and all over the place. And I want to be able to wear them when I'm doing dishes, so I want to be able to push up my sleeves. And having cuffs in a rib stitch at the bottom where my hands go through will allow for that. So that's kind of my plan. So it's kind of adapting this fabulous pattern and creating it my own into something that I will love and hopefully wear for years to come. So that is kind of my second major project. This has been sitting on my shelf for probably the last month, mainly because I got inspired. Like, it dawned on me probably the last week of November, the first week of December, to be like, you should double up your yarn to make it extra thick and squishy. And so this is what I've done. And honestly, I basically knocked out this entire blanket over Thanksgiving break and Christmas break because that was kind of the time that I had to crochet. We went down to my in-laws family in Indiana and I took all my yarn and I would say probably at least 3/4 of this blanket was stitched up in Indiana. Because it's doubled up and you're using a 9mm crochet hook, it stitches up really quick. If you're one of those people who can easily just spend your entire day just crocheting and you have the time to do that, you could probably get this knocked out in a week. I mean, I've never been the person who has like every day to kind of sit and dedicate to crochet. I wish I would love it. But I just don't have the ability to do that. But if I did, I could probably knock this out in a week. That's my guess. Which for an entire Afghan made in single crochet and double crochet stitches, I feel like is a pretty good timetable. So yeah, I'll be putting all my, the pattern for this, my stitch counts for the rows, everything else. It is a good size squishy blankie. Obviously I cannot get the entire thing in frame. I measured it to the back of my 3-seater couch when I was determining how long I wanted the foundation row to be. So it's a good size. My husband is 6'4", and if he puts this lengthwise across his body, he can have it up to his chin and still have his toes nice and cozy under the blankie. So it's a good size. It's not a ridiculous, like I wouldn't call it a twin size. It's not quite a twin size, but it's definitely somewhere between a twin size and a couch throw. Like it's not as small as couch throw, it's an oversized couch throw. So that is this. Oh, and here's the reverse side, because this pattern does have a front side and a back side. That's what the reverse side looks like. More just stripey with kind of the indentations of the triangles. But yeah, so that's that. Those are my major crochet projects. That's what I've been working on. I think that's my major up-to-date news. What other things have been going on? We got a cat. He's super sweet. I haven't had a cat since I was like in high school, so that's exciting. I will find a picture of him and put it up there. His name is Ollie. He's super sweet, and he came to us because another family that we knew was having another baby and just was not able to care for him. And so we were very thankful that we were able to take him, and he has been a wonderful addition to our home. And we've had him probably for like the last 3 weeks now at this point. So I had been wanting to get a pet for ages and ages, and I'm really excited that we have a pet now. He's very, very kind. Took a couple weeks for him to adjust, but I feel like he's settled in pretty well. He's super kind. My kids, including my 2-year-old, who is a completely feral fourth-born 2-year-old, can kind of chase him around the house, and he's just not bothered at all. Like, he's just like, meh, all right, whatever, kid, we can be friends. It's all right. Just don't poke me in the eye or, you know, pull my tail. As long as she refrains from doing those two things, he's all about it. So he is a super sweetheart. I'm really glad that he's an addition to our family. We had a wonderful Christmas. We had a wonderful New Year. We drove down to Indiana on Christmas Eve, and for those who are from the West Michigan, Indiana, lake effect, snow region of Michigan, know that Christmas Eve this year was not an easy drive, but we made it, and we were healthy, and we were safe, and we were able to have a wonderful Christmas with family. Celebrated with my husband's family on Christmas and my family on New Year's, and it was just delightful. It was a great holiday. And overall, things are good. Things are good, friends. I really don't have any major complaints. I haven't wanted to be away for as long as I've been away, but I also wanted to wait to come back until I knew that I would have the energy and the emotional energy and the space in my life to really commit myself to this. So here's your recommitted Rachel Yarn at Play. I am so excited to be here with you guys again. My minimum is hopefully 1 video a week. I'm shooting for 2, but I don't want to commit to that because life. But yeah, that's my plan. So for all of those who have been my hardcore original, basically from the beginning subscribers, I love you guys. I'm so glad you're here. And for those of you who have found me relatively recently, I am also super glad that you're here. I've just been absolutely blown away by the growth that the channel has had over the last 6 months while I've kind of taken a step back. And that is not due to anything that I have done. That is 100% you guys. So thank you, thank you, thank you. It really does mean a lot because that helps me to provide for my family and my kids, and I'm incredibly thankful. So I hope that each and every one of you had a wonderful holiday, whether that was Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, or anything in between. And I hope you had a fantastic New Year. And I will talk to you all soon. I'm looking forward to doing more videos and seeing you all again within the next week. So love you guys. Get back at it. Get to stitching. All right. Bye, your new friends.